All right, so they have that chip on their shoulder, and I get it. We've moved the goalposts on those guys a lot. I can live with anything he wants to say now. Now, that said, this is the list the Boston Celtics are trying to join tonight. These are the top 5 most dominant playoff runs ever that ended in a championship. At number 5, I put the 83 Sixers. I like it because they called their shot. Moses called the shot. Faux. They swept the Knicks. They beat the Bucks in 5. Then they swept the Lakers in the finals. I still consider them to be the best team I ever saw for any one individual season. They are number 5 on the most dominant list. At number 4, I put the 89 Pistons. They finished their championship run with 7 consecutive wins, including a sweep of the Lakers. Now, the Lakers played that series for the most part without their entire starting backcourt. Magic Johnson, Byron Scott both got hurt. Otherwise, this team would be higher on the list, but they are number 4 on the all-time list. At number 3 of most dominant playoff runs, the 91 Bulls. This was the first of the Bulls championship runs. This is a team that in the final 2 rounds swept the Pistons, who were back-to-back champions, and then beat the Lakers in 5. That was Magic Johnson. So they knocked off Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson and only dropped 1 game. At number 2, the 2017 Warriors. They were a cheat code. They were unfair. They only lost 1 playoff game, and that was after they had taken a 3-0 lead in the NBA Finals. They didn't lose a meaningful game in the entire playoffs. KD averaged 29. Steph averaged 28 in those playoffs. But at number 1, the 2001 Lakers, the best of the Shaq and Kobe teams. They lost 1 playoff game. In that game, Allen Iverson scored 48 points, and it went to overtime. That team did not lose a single playoff game in regulation the entire run. Shaq averaged 30, Kobe averaged 29. That was the best of those Laker teams, and that was the single best run. So there they are, the top 5 most dominant runs, and we'll see where we think the Celtics belong on that. You can see the list, and let's get CJ and Allen in here as well. Shaq and Kobe go number 1. KD and Steph are 2. Michael and Scotty are 3. Isaiah and company 4. Moses and the doctor are at number 5. Wendy, I'll start with you as my resident fellow historian. What do you make of the list?
I like it, and I appreciate that you are taking care of those 89 Pistons. And I also want to commend Mr. Tatum for preparing his I don't care anymore and no more sorries routine, and he should get ready to use it all summer long.
Monica, what do you think?
I like the list. I really like the list. I think sometimes we kind of forget, especially that 01 Lakers squad. This group, to me, though, might bump your Pistons off, though. So, yeah.
Well, that's the question. Boston, I didn't put Boston on this list because they haven't won it yet. We don't know what their final record is going to be. Right now, they're 15-2 in these playoffs. If they win tonight, they'll be 16-2. They'll be 80-20 for the season, to the point that was made there. And what has been interesting, CJ, is you play in the league this year. You played in the Western Conference. Everything they've done has been to some degree questioned. You just heard Jason Tatum say it there. Well, they won the East by 14 games. Well, the East wasn't very good. Well, they rampaged through the Eastern Conference playoffs. Well, everybody important got hurt. Now they're sweeping the Mavericks out of this thing, and all the conversation is, well, Luka's not mature enough to win this sort of thing. At some point, what do we need to say about this Celtics run?
I think we need to stop betting against them. We need to stop talking about what they haven't done, stop talking about Luka, stop talking about Kyrie, and just give them their flowers. They were a great team. They're well coached. They've shown growth. They've shown execution. I, for one, said that if the games were close, the Dallas Mavericks would win. I said I'm betting on Luka, I'm betting on Kyrie down the stretch of games because they've proven greatness over and over again. The Celtics have been the best clutch team, arguably, ever in the history of the playoffs. That shows you the maturity, that shows you the growth, that shows you Joe Mazzulla's ability to get the ball in his best players' hands, and for them to make the right decisions over and over again. We haven't even talked about their defense. They're just a great all-around team.
If they win tonight, if they sweep the finals and conference finals, which is something, as I pointed out, no team has literally ever done. If they finish the season 80-20, they will stake a claim on paper, Alan, to being one of the greatest teams of all time. Will you say they are one?
No. I mean, you got to take into context what happened in the Eastern Conference. That is still fair to say, even though they still have to win those games. They still have to do what they did. You give them that credit, but you have to acknowledge it. I mean, you want to add another team to your list, the 72 Laker team. They beat some legends on the way. I think they only lost 1 game, I believe. They beat, the Bucks team with Big O and
Lou Alcindor.
Lou Alcindor at the time. I was trying to think of it was Kareem or Lou Alcindor. and then they beat the Knicks team as well. That was a great team. So that's another team to think about. You're beating great players on the way, but it has to be acknowledged. What I love is that did Tatum just guarantee that they're going to come back next year? Did he give us a little bit of a Pat Riley, see you next year, we're going to do it back to back?
Then he smacked
Did he kind of do that? Because that would be a headline for me that he said that. I'll see you next year. We'll do it again.
That's fair. And we'll have plenty of time to worry about that. Here's the thing I will say about this, Windman, is that for all the people who are diminishing what they've done, that would make sense if this was college football and they sort of built a lot of cupcakes into their schedule. They're not responsible for who they play.
That's true.
They're not responsible for who got hurt. They're only responsible for the schedule that was given to them by someone else. They showed up when the games were being played against the teams they were scheduled to play, and they basically beat all of them at a practically unprecedented rate. What's the right thing to say about that, Windy?
Hembo gave me two stats today that are powerful to illustrate the power of this team. They've played 99 games. They've been favored in 95 of them. And the second thing is, East versus West, you want to live on that? Including this finals, they're 27-6 against Western Conference teams this year. Think about that when you think about where they belong.
NBA